Hi everyone, and welcome back to Phoenician Priestess. I'm so excited about this video because not a lot of people work with the magical energy that is Juno. And by other people, I mean both other professional astrologers and enthusiasts alike. Today we're exploring Juno's transit into Scorpio and what it means for love, commitment, soulmates, marriage, and partnerships across the collective, and also individually looking at your chart as well. I highly recommend listening to the intro and the collective parts before you listen to your own sign. But just as a reminder, you can find your own signs in the description box below where I have timestamps. So once you've listened to the collective and the intro, you can then skip ahead to your own sign part. But since people are less familiar with working with asteroids and less familiar with Juno, I highly, again, recommend listening to this intro first. So on November 3rd, Juno moved into Scorpio. This is a very transformative placement for Juno, and Juno loves being in Scorpio and loves being in Libra, where it just was before it moved into Scorpio. This is especially important because Juno normally spends around 2 months in each sign unless it retrogrades in a sign, which it did in Virgo. When it retrograded in Virgo, it spent around, I want to say, 1.5 years there. And so in Scorpio, Juno will be in Scorpio from November 3rd, 2024 to February 19th, 2025, which is why it's incredibly important to understand the collective energy that will come from this and also the individual energy. This is especially important if you're having your Juno return. How do you know if you're having your Juno return? That's if you have your Juno, like the Juno on your natal chart in Scorpio itself, meaning at the time you were born, Juno was in Scorpio. You can search this up by looking at Juno tables or looking at a Juno calculator or looking at an ephemeris, which tells you where planets were at certain dates, and finding the day you were born. So I'll spend some time talking about the significance of the Juno return as well. If you also just had your Juno recently pass through one of the other signs like Virgo or Libra, it means your Juno return would have happened in the last 1.5 years. So Juno is an asteroid, and it's not as widely known as the planets and not as widely used as the planets by many astrologers and many enthusiasts. A lot of old techniques, Hellenic techniques, or what are called also, additionally to that, Arabic techniques, and a lot of ancient astrology from the East Mediterranean, the Levant, the Near East, etc., actually used asteroids more than modern astrology or more modern, westernized astrology. But Juno holds incredible significance in relationship astrology, and I think it is incredibly underutilized after years and years of using Juno, looking at Juno for clients and, for friends, even and family, and for myself. I can really see the massive impact here. So Juno is the Roman name for Hera, the wife of Zeus. That's where the astrology gets its name from. Juno was the Roman goddess of marriage, love, women's health, fertility, and childbirth. She is also said to have been the patron goddess of Rome and the Roman Empire, and because she was the wife of Zeus, was the queen of the pantheon. Sorry, Zeus is the Roman name, of course. Sorry, the Greek name, of course, for Jupiter. Juno, just like the Phoenician goddess Astarte and the Aramean or Babylonian goddess Ishtar, Canaanite goddess Ishtar, and also the Phoenician and Carthaginian goddess Tanit, were all goddesses of the sky and considered mothers of all. If you had to primarily understand the very basic meaning of what Juno, the asteroid, means in astrology, either in your chart or collectively, is that Juno represents marriage and soulmate partnership. When I say soulmate, I don't mean someone that just comes in your life and triggers a change, which could be a soulmate and then leaves again, but I mean committed partnership. Juno is really about commitment and really about more the partnership and marriage aspect. Now, if we expand on that meaning, we can also say that Juno describes the ideal partner for you in this life itself, and the nature of that marriage, that relationship. It is often said that Juno will describe your marriage in a chart, including your marriage karma and all things to do with marriage blocks, commitment blocks, life partnerships. I'm just going to say marriage, right? The traditional concept, but you can translate that however you want if you don't believe in marriage and you just prefer to talk about long-term, lifelong partnerships, etc. outside of marriage, but I'm going to just say marriage when I'm talking about that level of commitment. What a Juno does in someone's chart can tell me when I'm looking at a client stories of divorce, stories of cheating, stories of toxicity, stories of who they will marry, stories of who they're meant to marry, and looking at Juno transits, impact on a chart and things like that can also help me predict as well when they will meet the ideal partner and who the ideal partner is. I recently did a reading for a client back in, when's her birthday? I think I want to say March. And she hadn't yet told me that she had actually met a man that she is now expecting a baby with. And I was doing her chart reading, and it was just a natal deep dive, which you can schedule with me anytime you'd like. And I told her that the partner she will have very strong Capricornian energy. And will likely, if not have it as a stellium, so concentration of energy in his chart, will be a Capricorn. Lo and behold, it turns out 3 weeks prior, she just started seeing a Capricorn man that she was feeling was the soulmate. And now, fast forward a few months, they are expecting and moving in together, and basically she's found her Juno match. She's found her committed life partner. And of course, she told me that 2 weeks after our reading, that I had predicted it accurately. And this has happened again and again and again. Now, I don't want you to take that story and run with it and say, go quickly and look at your chart and see what sign your Juno is, and then dump your partner if they're not that match. It's astrology, relationship astrology is truly not that simple. That's why you need a professional astrologer for. The Juno sign does speak a lot, and a professional astrologer takes that and interprets it in a way to understand more, and can indeed use it to predict things like timing and things like traits and even energy balances in your future partner's chart. Juno can also tell us the role you take in the relationship versus the role they take. Now, if you also know the story and the myths of Hera and Zeus, Juno and Jupiter, Zeus, I'm going to use their Greek names. So Zeus, who was Hera or Juno's husband, cheated on her a lot. And in that sense, Hera a lot of the times felt taken advantage of, felt betrayed, and felt like she was not being treated fairly, and that gave her a lot of rage. So some astrologers can also say that where the Juno is in your chart can also tell us where we seek to make things balanced, fair, and right. Juno is one of the core things that I focus on when I am doing love astrology, whether it's looking at compatibility or predictive or timing. There are a multitude of factors though. It's many things. I'll make a video on that. But a lot of astrologers, again, undermine Juno, so I just wanted to introduce Juno to you properly. Now, let's talk about what's happening now with Juno and what it could affect collectively and for your chart. When Juno transits a new sign, it brings these partnership themes to life in that sign's unique way. So, Juno in Scorpio, where it just recently entered and where it will stay until February, is all about loyalty, depth, emotional transformation, intimacy, passion, S-E, and then X. I hope that doesn't affect me anyway saying that. And uncovering hidden truths in relationships. It's also about transmutation of relationships, transmuting the dark to light, healing any deep relational wounds. And if a soulmate or a life partner that you're meant to have is someone from the past, an ex, where a relationship or a person require transformation, this is likely the time, if that is meant to be, where that likelihood of that energy stepping forward in a healed light will come, or a lot of that transformation will be alchemized. Now, for those of you experiencing a Juno return, aka if you have Juno in your natal chart, then your return will be starting from, the exact return of course will depend on your chart, but the period overall will be from November 3rd until Feb. But listen to this as well if you had your Juno in Libra or in Virgo, meaning it would have been from before November 3rd going back like 2 years, year and a half-ish. This is an especially powerful time because as Juno returns to its point, as Juno in the sky returns to the point where it is in your chart, this tends to bring life-changing realizations about partnership patterns, needs, desires, brings forwards, triggers things, triggers events, and you meet people. And pay attention too, because we're going to be retrograding Juno here, and Virgo also saw a retrograde, and When these times happen, for example, if you meet someone during a Juno retrograde, it might not be as smooth sailing. You might feel like you met your soulmate, then before the retrograde ends, they might be torn out of your life, either for you guys to transform and be brought back again, or they actually were a false soulmate, but played a purpose in showing you what's possible and what you deserve and what's out there, and preparing you, clearing out the final things that may need to be cleared out to be able to hold the love that may come in the future. Now, let's take a look at some other things happening around this Juno transit entering Scorpio, to have more astrological context of the energy that's not just impacting you, but impacting the collective in terms of these themes. It's important, and I say this in my other videos, to really understand it's not just about what house gets activated and what sign we're in. It's also important to understand the state of the ruler. So Mars, Scorpio's traditional ruler, is currently in Leo. This adds a bold, confident energy to the pursuit of love and to commitment. If you know me, you know I love talking about love, and I love hearing about love, and I love seeing love. So this is great, because that means many of us in the collective may feel more daring in love, and may be more willing to step into romantic dynamics with courage, and may be more brazen and more spontaneous and more affectionate and more verbal and vocal, and more, thinking and speaking before acting, which can also have negative side effects, right? You can apply that. I'm focusing on the positive here. Also, around this time frame, Pluto, which is Scorpio's modern ruler, and I consider it its secondary ruler, is at 29 degrees of Capricorn, known as the critical degree. You're going to be hearing a lot of astrologers talking about this, and I've mentioned it in past videos. You can listen to my love transit videos to understand more about that. But basically, it's poised to shift into Aquarius on November 19th, which will amplify themes of transformation, endings, and rebirth. Pluto's position intensifies Juno's impact, encouraging us to release old relationship patterns and embrace deep, authentic connections. This is a generational thing, and it's a thing that will last for a while. Pluto tends to spend around 20 years in each sign. But because it's actually going from the critical degree to a sign change, this could be felt more strongly right now. We also have Venus in Capricorn. As you probably know and can guess, Venus is the planet that traditionally rules love, marriage, partnership, beauty, money, and values to a certain extent. And Venus and Juno, I kind of consider them, even though one's an asteroid, one's a planet, but they have very, very similar energies. They're kind of sister energies, you could say. So Venus does have, knowing where Venus is important when we're looking at the context of Juno. And Venus is in Capricorn, and it entered the sign of Capricorn on November 11th, which provides a grounding energy to all these intense dynamics, the intense fiery energy of Scorpio. It grounds it, and it forces us even more to consider the long term, not in the passionate Morticia Adams, Gomez Adams way that Scorpio does, but in the more grounded, stable way. Venus in Capricorn really encourages serious commitment and maturity and fixing wrongs, which blends well with Juno's themes of loyalty and dedication. What does this look like in terms of general collective impact? So with Juno and Scorpio, expect to shift towards deeper emotional engagement and intense loyalty in relationships. Juno in Scorpio literally is the same energy and archetype as Morticia Adams and Gomez Adams, which, by the way, I love it. If you ask me, this is my ideal. This is my relationship goals. That mixed with Aragorn and Arwen, mixed with the Count of Monte Cristo and Mercedes from Count of Monte Cristo. If you don't know what I'm talking about, YouTube all of those three couples. But honestly, actually, in some ways, all those three couples have a little bit Juno and Scorpio, and also Juno and Libra energy. So this is a time to build trust, to heal past relationship wounds, and to transform our approach to commitment. Besides approach to commitment, it's also time to transform and alchemize possible relationships that maybe had to plunge into Hades, into the underworld, and be risen from the dead again. I'm speaking, of course, metaphorically, allegorically, figuratively. So basically, I mean, this is the time to, if relationships died, to bring them back to life, if they are meant to, of course. Now, combining this with the energy of Mars in Leo and Venus in Capricorn creates a balance of boldness with pragmatism, which allows us to take confident steps towards commitment while remaining realistic. It's really a time of both acting fast, that's me clicking, and also grounding into reality. Now, with Pluto at the critical degree, this suggests an end of an era in relationships, collectively pushing us to release past relationship baggage and make room for something new. There's really a transformational energy here, which invites us to explore new depths of love. Because both Pluto and Scorpio have a death, rebirth, and transmutation, alchemization, dark to light, the phoenix rising energy, if your soulmate that you're meant to marry is someone from your past, this is gonna be the time they get their shit together. Oops, pardon my French. This is gonna be the time where if they are meant to, they will correctly step forward. And if you're the one, then you will be the one to correctly step forward, depending on the relationship dynamics. As I go through each sign, I'm going to include singles, and that will, if relevant, be people who are separated or in no contact. And I'm also going to talk about couples. But before, let's just get an overall understanding what this collective energy means for singles before we go into the all signs. So singles, you may feel drawn to magnetic, life-changing, intense, scorpionics, Gomez and Morticia Adams like connections with lots of passion and intimacy and that three-letter word that starts with an S and ends with an X. Scorpio's energy does not settle for the superficial. It seeks soul-level bonding and wants to be the merging of souls. Juno in Scorpio is literally the phrase, "till death do us part," in every aspect of it. Can you tell how much I love this energy? Many singles may find themselves attracted to people who reflect something hidden or transformative within themselves. This is also being attracted to someone who can bring healing to you on a very deep soul level, especially when it comes to intimacy and commitment. For those in separation or no contact, this transit can bring closure, healing, or like I said earlier, even a second chance with someone from the past, especially if both parties have done the necessary inner work. Now, I don't want to encourage any of you to be delulu, which is the youngin's way of saying delusional. But if it's meant to be, it will happen, and it will likely happen in this time frame. But if someone's toxic, then we do not go there, and I do not encourage that. Okay, Mars in Leo can create opportunities for sudden reconnection, especially if someone's feeling brave enough to reach out or take a bold step. How do you know if this is you? Intuition will not leave you alone when it comes. And it speaks on a very deep and inner core level, and it will come like a reflex, like a nudge. And the more you ignore it, the louder it will be. But take a second to sit with it, sleep on it. And if it's intuition, it will stay there and it will feel like it's almost coming from somewhere else. Couples, for those in committed partnerships, Juno in Scorpio invites exploration of trust, loyalty, and emotional and physical and spiritual intimacy and passion. Couples may find themselves confronting any unspoken truths or unresolved issues within the relationship. This is also a time when secrets that you may be hiding from each other will come to the light and may be forcing you to transform those, to transmute those into something lighter. Venus in Capricorn will provide a grounding influence which encourages couples to make realistic, long-term plans while staying connected to their shared goal. This is really an ideal time to discuss the future, to set new intentions, and to commit more deeply. You will feel more drawn to it. Around this time, you're going to be not having time for BS or low commitment or low effort encounters or people stepping forward. Your soul is going to crave more. And if things are in alignment, if you've done all your lessons that the universe wanted you to learn before, then the right people will be stepping forward. This is a great time to either cement something serious or for someone serious to enter your life. Now, let's go sign by sign to see how Juno's transit into Scorpio may affect each zodiac sign, focusing on general themes, singles, including separated, no contact, if and when applicable, and couples. For each sign, we'll also consider Mars, Pluto, and Venus's placements to provide the specific scenarios and outcomes, because again, I really like detailed and accurate and proper astrology, and so I like to do a very holistic view. Last thing I will say, and I've said it before, please, please, please listen to your ascendant primarily, and then listen to your sun and moon to get a holistic overall view. But if you only listen to your sun and you don't listen to all three, and especially you ignore your ascendant or your rising sign, and then you think it's inaccurate, then I'm going to say unless you listen to your rising sign primarily and then all the other two for a holistic view, you're not going to have a full understanding. And like I said as well, every personal chart is different to really understand what is happening. You can reach out to me and schedule with me or any other astrologer that properly works with asteroids. Also, Speaking of which, I am running a giveaway to give away a free 60-minute reading. We can use this to talk about Juno and love and marriage in your chart, or to do a couples analysis if you want to know more about compatibility and karma between you guys, or where the relationship is going. To win, all you have to do is subscribe and comment, please. Those both need to happen in order to count as an entry, and any additional comment after that will count as an additional entry, and I'm pulling 2 winners once I hit 30 subscribers. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into the sign by sign forecast. Starting off with Aries. Aries, suns, moons, and risings. If you haven't, more than any other video, except maybe the Saturn direct one, I highly encourage you to please listen to the intro and collective of this video. It has so much information that is so important. Okay, so the general impact of Juno, the asteroid of love, commitment, marriage, soulmate partnership in your chart, it is actually going in your 8th house, the house of intimacy, transformation, and shared resources. Listen, the 8th house is traditionally associated with Scorpio, traditionally ruled by Scorpio, and it is Scorpionic energy. So even if someone has another sign there, it's the house that still rules the themes and the subjects and the topics to do with passion, intimacy, sex, shared resources, death, rebirth, birth, transformation, alchemization, trauma, like really deep, intense spirituality, or the occult even. And for you, you have Scorpio actually there. And Scorpio is all of those things and more. It is one of the most intense signs, one of the signs with the highest drive, if you know what I mean. I'm talking about in terms of intimacy and whatnot. And it is also a sign that is deeply emotionally intense and one of the most spiritually intuitive connected signs. So to have it there, this is amplifying all this energy. So for you, it's a big deal to have Juno transiting your 8th house of intimacy and transformation, and of course shared resources. So you may be drawn to relationships that offer depth, emotional intensity, and potential for deep healing. This transit could bring up themes of loyalty and trust, challenging you to let go of fears around vulnerability. Now, for singles, and I'm including separated, no contact, you may find yourself drawn to partners who have a mysterious or intense vibe, or who really, it's almost like something is like drawing you in incredibly seductively. This period could spark connections that bring up powerful emotions, possibly tied to shared financial goals or mutual interests in deep transformative topics. You may meet someone who really likes providing for you in every sense of that, or if you're on the other side, you might meet someone that you really want to provide for. You can see that either way there's this dynamic of provider and receiver. That there's an accentuation of the dynamic of traditional feminine masculine dynamics, or of intense exploration in terms of the sensual meaning. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Separated, no contact people. With Mars in your 5th house of romance, there's a chance that an old flame may reappear, or you may feel a strong desire to rekindle a past relationship. But be cautious, as Scorpio energy can bring back unresolved feelings, so make sure it's really worth visiting. It's having Juno go through your 8th house where you do have Scorpio really intensifies the likelihood of someone from the past trying to rekindle, or things from the past coming up for you to alchemize from dark into light. Couples, Venus in Capricorn in your 10th house is bringing a serious tone to your relationship when we're combining it with what Juno is doing. It's an ideal time for you to make future plans or discuss commitment in practical terms. The 8th house focus could also bring financial conversations to the forefront, encouraging you to align your resources and goals. There may be a big change in one in the couple's money in terms of shared resources. One may be very heavily providing for the other, or there's a change in how that happens. Additionally, this is a time for you where you can experience heightened intimacy and the very spiritual nature of that, in terms of things like tantra, things like that, or really feeling like your souls are merging, both physically and spiritually, so on. Moving on to Taurus. Taurus risings, suns, and moons. If you haven't, more than any other video, I please really recommend you listen to the intro and the collective reading, because it's so important. But overall, in terms of general impact, Juno is entering your 7th house of partnerships, which shines a light on loyalty, commitment, and relationship patterns. Juno is most at home in the 7th and 8th houses. 7th house is ruled by Libra, and 8th house is traditionally ruled by Scorpio. You, however, have Scorpio in your 7th house. So Juno is very happy here, just like it was very happy for the Aries risings. This is a transformative period where your approach to relationships may undergo a major shift, favoring depth and emotional resonance. Singles, you may meet your soulmate or someone that you enter a serious or committed relationship with, or you may be meeting people that will really be challenging you to fix any lingering issues that are blocking you from meeting the right one. You may be drawn to people who offer stability, but with a hidden edge because of that scorpionic vibe. Look for someone who mirrors your values, but can also help you grow emotionally. For separated people and no contact, this doesn't necessarily mean or not mean that someone from the past is going to come forward. It could happen, or you could be being asked to let go of where holding on to that is holding you back. If it does happen, it will happen in this time. Juno transiting the 7th house is one of those times where relationship things are really going to happen, either meeting or or changes if it's breaking up, or getting more serious, or having a big breakthrough in the relationship, or being asked to commit to go to the next level, or even proposal. So for couples, Venus and Capricorn in your 9th house may also focus you to shift to what your values, shared dreams, and philosophies are. This may be a time where you're discussing future plans and beliefs in your relationship, which will strengthen your bond, especially if you've been considering long-term commitments or shared adventures. This is a time where you as a couple could be exploring travel together or dreams together, but this is also the likely time that you may see if this person is right for you in the long run, or if they're seeing it as well. And this is very highly likely because it's happening in the 7th house, which is the house of marriage, where you are going to perhaps get proposed to, or you may even be having your wedding at this time. Gemini, moving on to Gemini. If you haven't, I highly recommend you listen to the intro. Juno is moving into your 6th house, your house of routines, health, and service. This transit will bring a focus on daily dynamics within relationships, which will encourage you to evaluate how your partnerships support your well-being and vice versa. Singles, you might be meeting someone at work, or someone that you encounter in kind of your daily routines, or your things to do with health. So that could be if you're going to health checkup, if you're at the gym, if you're in your local dance class, things like that, or on your commute to work, like if you take the tube or subway or train or wherever you live. You might attract partners who share similar work ethics or health routines. This could also be a time to meet someone who complements your day-to-day life, but also pushes you towards personal growth. Now, Juno is also the asteroid of commitment, right? And the 6th house is all about commitment and daily life. So you could be committing more to your health routine, but I'm going to focus on the love aspect here. Juno is not, I'll be honest with you, not as strong in the 6th house. It doesn't mean you won't meet someone. It just means that this transit is not necessarily highlighting relationships. But if it's something, and will be based on where Venus is in your chart, where exactly Juno is heading in your chart, what you have in the 6th house, if relationships are activated for you, that's likely the theme where it will happen or what it will impact. Couples, Venus and Capricorn in your 8th house is supporting discussions around shared resources, intimacy, and even financial planning. This is an ideal time for couples to align on goals that impact the practical, everyday aspects of life. Because the 6th house, where Juno is entering, rules daily routines and also rules daily work life, you could be perhaps choosing to move in together with your partner, or to really amplify the day-to-day time you're spending together. Or you may choose to be going to work together, or start co-working together, or starting some kind of a work project together. This house is Virgoan energy, it's grounded energy, so this could also be a time where you're being more practical and grounded in how you support each other in your relationship. Couples, Venus is also in Capricorn in your 8th house at this time, which emphasizes intimacy, shared resources, and transformation within relationships. Combining that with your 6th house, this could be encouraging partners to find balance between practical routines and deeper emotional or financial commitment. You and your partner may discuss merging finances, or setting up shared financial goals, or supporting each other's health journey. This could involve creating joint wellness plans, financial planning, or exploring deeper forms of intimacy. Some couples may face health-related discussions or issues, perhaps supporting each other through health challenges or adopting new routines to enhance mutual well-being. There's really a desire here for more balance in daily life and relationship, which will emerge and prompt discussions on how you guys can work together. For those that might be in separation, we have actually, or no contact, I include that. This transit may encourage you to look at whether the relationship actually aligns with your daily life and your health needs and how it impacted it. But for you, Mars, the ruler of Juno here, is actually in Leo, which is your third house of communication. So this may be prompting you to have an urge to reach out, or prompting them to have an urge to reach out. You may feel compelled to reach out to an ex, or to check in, or to discuss practical matters that could bring closure. This contact might provide clarity about whether your routines and values still align. You might suddenly, out of the blue, hear from an ex around work or health matters, especially if they share similar wellness or work pursuits. This reconnection could open the door to a friendship or a renewed partnership. If the separation involved issues around daily commitments or routines, this transit may help you reassess whether there's room to work on things within those boundaries. All right, moving on to Cancer. Cancer, you have Juno moving into your fifth house of romance, creativity, and self-expression, which is great because Juno is also about love. Even though the fifth house tends to be about more kind of the lighter, more fun essence of that, but it's still romance, and romance is what leads to partnerships, which is what leads to the souls merging. It's the journey from the fifth house to the seventh house to the eighth house. Anyway, so the energy here is ripe for exploring passionate connections, creative projects, and self-expression within relationships. I want to preface again, I really please recommend you listen to the intro because I really talk about more when it comes to Juno. To really know what is actually going to happen in your life accurately, a reading helps the most. But the Juno in your own chart, so even though Juno here is activating your fifth house, but your own Juno might be is likely in a completely different place, and that's really what's also going to impact how that's getting aspected, is what's going to impact what might be unfolding in terms of love and marriage, etc. Anyway, if we're just going to look at your fifth house getting activated, then Juno in Scorpio is bringing depth to all of these themes of joy, self-expression, romance, creativity, flings, being in the spotlight, embodying your true self, hobbies, even being an entrepreneur. And so it's encouraging really in connections that feel transformative while also being intense. So you may feel drawn towards relationships that allow you to express yourself fully, perhaps with a focus on creativity or shared artistic pursuits. You may develop a crush or meet someone in these areas of your life where you kind of have a lot of joy, creativity, hobbies, etc. If you're involved in creative projects, you may find that partnerships within these endeavors become stronger and more meaningful. Cancer individuals, ascendant, suns, moons, or rising, you may also feel the urge to pursue deeper connections with children or family members, opening doors to more heartfelt, honest conversations. Juno, right? She's the mother of the sky, and so fifth house also rules children. So you may be really feeling drawn more and more, not just to your inner child, but to having children, or if you have kids, to bonding with your kid. Now, singles, Juno in Scorpio in the fifth house is bringing a magnetic energy to romantic encounters. You may attract someone who is creative, intense, and who resonates with your own desire for deep emotional connection. You could meet someone in a creative setting, such as an art gallery, a theater, or a social gathering that's focused on self-expression. You could meet someone doing something you love or that brings you joy, or a hobby. This connection may start off as lighthearted, but quickly take on a transformative or deeper or more passionate emotional tone. You could be being attracted or drawn to people who awaken kind of your wanting children instinct. An attraction may emerge with someone who shares your values in parenting, or creative pursuits, opening the possibility for a committed connection because Juno is about commitment. Alternatively, you might attract a compatible romantic partner who encourages you to embrace new forms of self-expression, new hobbies, or to start your own business, or to follow your dream, things like that, which will lead to personal transformation. For those in separated or no contact, Juno's entry in the fifth house may stir up old memories and desires. We have the ruler of this in your second house, so that might prompt you to reflect on the value of this connection, If this relationship ended due to self-worth issues, this transit will be prompting you to reassess your own value and offer insights into whether a reunion is truly beneficial. Couples, Venus in your 7th house is bringing a grounded, serious energy to partnerships. Having Venus transiting your 7th house is really a time that is indicating seriousness in terms of that. So relationships going to the next level, a possible time for engagement, marriage, etc. Singles, if you're still listening, this could be, again, a time where you actually might meet someone and it may seem very grounded and practical at first. Anyway, back to couples. If we combine this with Juno and Scorpio in the 5th house, this transit is really inviting you to explore how bringing more passion and creativity and self-expression and romance into the relationship can happen, can work, and can benefit the relationships. You and your partner may decide to engage in creative projects together, such as redecorating a home, working on an art project, or even planning events that celebrate your bond. Conversations around children, parenting styles, or even the prospect of starting a family may emerge, which will bring a new dimension to your relationship. This is the time where you may get pregnant as a couple. You may be having a baby. You may be trying. You may also start having those conversations about that. You may see if your values align or don't align when it comes to having children. If your relationship has felt very routine, this transit will encourage both of you to rekindle the romance and passion by exploring each other's desires and interests, which will foster a sense of renewed kind of connection. Moving on to Leo. Leo, suns, moons, and risings. If you haven't, I highly recommend you listen to your intro. Here we are talking about Juno in the sky currently transiting. This does not talk about Juno specifically in your chart. That's going to tell me a lot, and for that you need a reading with a one-on-one reading. But still, Juno in the sky is activating your 4th house, which is the house of home, family, and foundations. Juno is also very happy here. The emphasis here is on building deeper, more meaningful relationships with family or chosen kin. Juno in Scorpio here might be highlighting transformations around your living space, family dynamic, or your sense of belonging. So, specific scenarios. You may feel compelled to explore your family history or work through any unresolved familial issues, potentially leading to healing conversations and insights. Okay, I just realized you're probably wondering, well, okay, that doesn't necessarily sound related to love. I thought Juno is the asteroid of love and commitment and marriage. Juno is, but again, depending, like for some of the other signs, it's activating those places in their chart that is talking about marriage, etc. Now, if you have things to do in your 4th house that tie to that, or if you have rulers of other houses that rule those things in your 4th house, or if Juno right now is aspecting in another part of your chart, that means like angling in a certain meaningful way, points that rule those things, then you specifically will be experiencing meanings of this that have to do more with partnership, etc. Outside of the other Leos listening to this, but that'll of course depend on your chart. However, I'm going to talk to you about the overall meaning of Juno activating your 4th house, and I will talk about, but it does not necessarily here mean love, but I will also talk about for singles and couples when it comes to love what it does mean. Back to the overall meaning or possible ways this energy might come into your life. If you've been contemplating changes to your living situation, such as moving, renovating, buying a home, moving in together with someone, moving closer to someone, someone spending more time in your home, this transit might encourage you to consider those decisions carefully with your loved ones. Leos, you may also feel called to reconnect with family members or ancestors, perhaps even exploring your own roots through research or meaningful conversations. For single Leos, Juno in the 4th house may draw you towards individuals who share similar values around family, home life, and emotional security. You may seek a partner who provides a sense of stability and comfort. You may meet someone through family. Maybe your family member wants to introduce you to someone, or you meet someone at a family gathering or a wedding or a reunion, or maybe your parents are harping you a lot about why you're single. Or you may meet someone through mutual connections or acquaintances connected to your roots, whether it's your home country or your hometown or where you grew up or your childhood friend, etc. An attraction may develop with someone who feels like home or who's from that area or who reminds you of a comforting figure from your past. You could also attract someone who is committed to the idea of building a home or family, which will kind of spark those discussions between you and that long-term potential really early on. For couples, Juno in the 4th, this is really encouraging you guys to create a stable home environment and nurture your shared goals and or create a family together. So you could be talking about moving in together, buying a home, buying a place. If you're long distance, you might be talking about closing the gap. You could be talking about starting a family, what that looks like, how you want to raise your families, things like that. We also have Venus in Capricorn in your 6th house, which is highlighting mutual responsibilities, daily routines, health, which will add a practical tone to relationships and further encourage this living together daily routine aspect. You and your partner may decide to work on home-related projects together, whether it's redecorating, moving, or making decisions that impact your shared living environments. You could also be talking about each other's families, like meeting the families, blending the families, or addressing your roots and heritage and kind of familial deep-rooted issues. You could also be focusing on establishing a routine together that contributes to a sense of emotional security, such as planning family dinners or at-home date nights or creating comforting rituals together. Okay, moving on to Virgo. Virgo suns, moons, and risings. If you haven't, I really, really highly recommend, perhaps more than any of my other current videos so far, that you listen to my intro and the collective reading. I will say again, this is talking about where transit Juno, so Juno right now in the sky, where it's highlighting and activating in your chart. But your own actual natal Juno is likely somewhere else. And aspects or what is in your house that's getting activated, or what's happening to your natal Juno, or how this Juno is aspecting other things in your chart, all of those things will give more accurate answerings of what's happening in love, marriage, etc. And a personal reading is what's required to get to that level. However, this will still kind of understand that what is happening to your life, where this energy of commitment is flowing into. So for you, Virgo, Juno is moving into your 3rd house of communication, siblings. Communication, by the way, also includes messaging, receiving messages. It also includes speaking, writing. Siblings, we talked about local community, local, like near around you, travel, social media to a certain extent, things like that. This transit will emphasize deepening connections through meaningful conversations and exchanges, shared learning, and community involvement. Juno in Scorpio here is bringing intensity and a desire for trust and depth to how you communicate and connect with others. It is maybe pushing you to change relationships via communication. So you may find yourself drawn to engage in thought-provoking discussions, especially about emotional or psychological topics. This could lead to forming close bonds with people who value deep conversations. Virgo individuals may also develop stronger ties with siblings or close friends, possibly working through old misunderstandings or building a more supportive relationship. Community involvement, such as joining a local group or class, may become a significant outlet for developing meaningful bonds and finding like-minded individuals. Overall, that's kind of the energy of what Juno looks like going into the 3rd house. 3rd house is not necessarily, in general, a kind of love house, but it doesn't mean you're not going to be experiencing love, okay? So we're going to talk about what it means for in love for singles and couples now. And just as a reminder, your chart will kind of rule more of this. Also, if you actually have Juno here, this looks totally different if your Juno is in Virgo. Sorry, if your Juno is in Scorpio. Oh, and also if your Juno is in Virgo. Okay, sorry, I think that was confusing if you are new to astrology. Okay, back to your singles. For single Virgos, suns, moons, and risings, Juno in Scorpio in the 3rd house brings an attraction to partners who stimulate you mentally and emotionally. You may seek a partner who engages you in deep conversation. That you may seek a partner who is like giving you an intellectual communication. You're likely to meet someone in your local area through community groups or even on social media or on dating apps. This 3rd house is also the house of communication and messaging, and Scorpio is a sign of death and rebirth. So if you've messed up in the past, you could be reaching out or feeling drawn to reach out to a partner that you've reevaluated and you're feeling like, wow, this is really the partner for me. I can't believe I messed this up. This is the time where you could be reestablishing communication, and communication can bring a death and rebirth. Well, over here, a rebirth, death of the old, birth of the new. You could have even maybe met them on a dating app, which is kind of third house Juno energy, because it rules technology, communication, and social media to a certain extent. Anything else? You may meet someone or run into someone from the past during a short trip, a class or community event, finding an intellectual and emotional connection that surprises you with depth. Oh, by the way, if you're not the one who's being called to reach out, but you're thinking a lot of an ex and it kind of sounded like they were the one who incorrectly let you go, this could be the time where you might be receiving messages from them, and this could be an offering for you to rekindle. Your sibling may also introduce you to someone at this time. You may attract someone or yearn for someone who enjoys discussions about psychology, healing, transformation, and where you have really good conversations. And this could lead to a bond based on mutual exploration and learning. For Virgos who are in separation or no contact, I accidentally went into this a little bit already, but Mars in Leo in your 12th house is making you reflective, which will prompt introspection about the past. Juno in third house, like I said, will also inspire you to communicate or seek closure if you're still unsure about the relationship, or will inspire you to rekindle and alchemize it into something light. You may feel compelled to reach out to an ex to clarify misunderstandings or share your perspective, or this will make you realize how maybe you had an amazing intellectual connection with an ex, and this could lead to an emotionally transformative conversation, which either will be a learning opportunity or it may invite you to rekindle things and to try again. And with Juno here, it's talking about Juno is serious commitment and soulmate energy. An ex may reach out to you, which could bring up memories or unresolved issues, and allow you both to discuss past conflicts. If the relationship ended due to communication issues, this transit might provide clarity on how to navigate similar situations in the future. If this relationship ended due to your own unresolved traumas and wounds, communications here and sudden learnings here could inspire you to heal those. Couples. Venus and Capricorn happening at the same time in your 5th house can enhance that romance, creativity, and playfulness within the relationship, providing that grounded energy that balances Juno's intensity in the 3rd house. Couples may feel encouraged to open up more, to share ideas, to bond more intellectually, and to create meaningful rituals. You and your partner might decide to work on a shared project. Conversations about the future may come up, as well as discussions about intellectual compatibility or how to nurture communication in the relationship. Some Virgos may find their partner encourages them to explore new interests or to take short-term trips together, like near them, like kind of day trip vibes, or to deepen emotional intimacy through open and honest dialogue. Moving on to Libra. Libra, suns, moons, and risings. If you haven't yet, I really encourage you to please listen to the intro, perhaps more than any of my current videos, where I think it's important because I go into so much there. Please listen to it. And I want to say again also, this is talking about where Juno is going to activate in your chart, and this is a general reading to really understand what it's actually bringing in your reading. The best accuracy will come with a one-on-one reading, and where Juno actually, your natal Juno is in your house. This is talking about transit Juno. However, this is still a great understanding, so do listen. Not all signs and not all houses does Juno transiting a certain house necessarily relate to love. I will talk about the overall energy because Juno is commitment, so what it could be bringing up. And then when we go into the singles and couples portion, I will make it specific about love if your sign is one of the ones that is not necessarily about love. And honestly, for you, Juno is entering your 2nd house, which is finances, personal values, self-worth, real estate, investment, stock. It's not necessarily an area about love. It does not mean you will not meet anyone at this time or that things won't get intense for you, right? This is just talking about Juno. It's not talking about Venus. It's not looking at your own chart. Personally, it's looking at what's getting activated in your chart. But don't worry, like I said, we will talk about what this energy means in terms of love as well. So here for you, Libra, there's an emphasis on commitment to building stability, security, and meaningful connections in the areas that matters most to you. Juno and Scorpio here can encourage you to evaluate your relationship to money, how it relates to love and partnership and commitment, self-worth, and it could encourage you to seek relationships that support your financial goals and values. You may feel compelled to assess your values in relationships, focusing on partnerships that align with your sense of worth and financial stability. You may change how you view money and finances. Maybe you go from being a 50-50 person to being a non-50-50 person and more towards a traditional masculine, feminine provider dynamic. You may choose to change your self-worth or self-esteem issues here that may be affecting your money and relationship dynamics. You may be wanting to attract more a partner that can help you financially. Financial goals, or where you can help them. You may be thinking of how you can increase your finances in order to support a partner or family. Financial goals may become a shared priority with someone, whether it's a partner, close friend, a family member. If there's been financial tension or issues or value-related tensions in relationships, this transit may encourage you to address them openly and make meaningful adjustments. For singles, single Libras, Juno in the second house might draw you to partners who are financially stable or who support your personal values and goals. You're likely to meet someone who shares a similar outlook on finances or self-worth. You may meet someone in a financial or professional setting, such as networking event, workshop, or business gathering, or like an investment workshop, or you could be attracting a lot of people who want to spoil and pamper you. An attraction could also emerge with someone who encourages your financial growth, or who can mentor you or teach you how to invest more or grow it there, or who appreciates your approach to values and stability. Alternatively, you might be drawn to a person who has a strong sense of self-worth, which motivates you to cultivate similar traits within yourself. You could also be attracted to someone that works in real estate, or someone could be attracted to you that works in real estate, or someone could try and be courting you that works in real estate. You get the idea. This is not for everyone, of course, but for some of you. If you are separated or no contact, for Libras in separation or no contact, Mars, the ruler of Juno here, is in Leo, which is in your 11th house, and that could inspire you to connect socially with an ex, to try and be friends with an ex. You may run into them within your community accidentally. If past issues involved money or values, this transit might encourage you to consider your stance. You may feel inclined to reach out to an ex to discuss lingering financial issues, possibly leading to resolution or closure. If your separation involved clashing values, this transit may help you understand the situation better and perhaps decide to either reconnect or, to reconnect. An ex might reach out to you, especially if they now see more clearly the value you brought to their life, and maybe they see in the past, especially if they've been disconnected from their own values. If something that caused the relationship to break up was not feeling financially stable or stable in terms of investments, assets, real estate, net worth, etc., and now they're feeling better about it, they may now come forward. And if you are the person that left a partner because you were not feeling stable in terms of assets, business, money, investment, real estate, net worth, etc., this may be a time where you're feeling drawn to come forward to an ex. Couples, Juno here, combining with the fact that Venus is in Capricorn in your 4th house, is really encouraging partners to focus on building stability, financial security, shared values, possible home together, and even familial, home, and emotional security. Couples may decide to work together on a financial goal, such as saving for a home, investing, or budgeting for a family project. Discussions about long-term stability may come up, which will lead both of you to solidify plans for the future. You and your partner may focus on building a solid foundation at home, creating a space that feels both financially and emotionally secure. Scorpios, suns, moons, and risings. Just as a note, this is for suns, moons, and risings. This is not if Juno on your chart is in Scorpio. That will be a Juno return. That is different. That is also very, very massive and impactful. If you have Juno in Scorpio and now Juno has entered Scorpio, it means you're going through Juno return, which means you're about to make some changes that could likely get you meeting someone who's going to be your life partner, or you may meet your life partner, or if you disconnected from them, you may be feeling drawn to go back to them, or rekindle and rework it, or or they could come back in your life. That, what I just described there, that was if you have Juno in Scorpio, and this reading is not for that. This reading is for those who are Scorpio suns, moons, and risings. I do not know where the Juno on your chart is. That requires a one-on-one reading, and that's totally different. And for a personal reading as well, we look at what is in the house that's getting activated by Juno, what that could be aspecting, where your actual Juno is, aspects to that, rulerships. We look at Venus, we look at 7th house, we look at Eros, we look at Psyche, we look at so many things that you cannot do in a general YouTube reading. But Juno is still activating a big part of your house. It's a angular house. It's the first house. It's the house of I am, identity, appearance, personal initiatives. So it is important for you to listen to this as well. But to get a proper reading, highly, or really understand, one-on-one reading is needed with an astrologer, me or otherwise. But I also really recommend you listen to the intro. Sorry, Scorpios. I think I gave you a bit too much information here before jumping into scenarios and explanations. All right, so this transit for you, like I said, it's an angular house. So when one angular house is triggered, it triggers all the other angular houses. So for you, you actually might be meeting someone that could be life partner material. But the first house is the house of identity, appearance, looks, personal initiatives. It's the house, the I am house, I like to call it. It's like the house that is your creed, your personal creed. It's how the world views you, in a way, kind of your top layer of the onion that interacts with the world, and the top layer of the onion that you show your initial, I don't want to say mask because it sounds like it's fake, it's not, but that kind of initial interaction with the world. It's what you come off as well. This transit shines a spotlight on self-commitment, independence, authenticity in relationships, and also the balance between who you are and who you are in partnership. The balance between I am and we are. The balance between independence and dependence. Juno in Scorpio here may lead you to seek deeper, transformative connections that reflect your personal growth and newfound self-awareness. You may feel, for example, more motivated to redefine your identity within relationships, setting new boundaries, or focusing on connections that feel authentic. Some Scorpios might decide to work on self-improvement, or glow-ups, or beauty, or changing their appearance, or explore new aspects of their personality or appearance that might better reflect who they are now and the type of partner they want to attract. Some Scorpios might do like a looks transformation, or like revisit affirmations or their personal creed to ask if how they're behaving and how they're carrying themselves in the world is attracting the right partner for them. This transit could also encourage you to seek partners who align with your evolving sense of self and who respect your need for independence and for depth. Singles. For single Scorpios, Juno in the first house can bring an intense focus on finding partners who align with your authentic self. You may attract people who respect your individuality, your independence, and your desire for genuine connections, or for people who bring lessons and challenges in terms of where you versus dependence lie, independence versus independence, and who teach you how to maintain a sense of self within a relationship, or if you've been avoidant of that, who encourage you to allow healthy levels of dependence existing within a relationship. You may meet someone who admires your confidence and who resonates with your values, making you feel more comfortable expressing yourself openly. An attraction may develop with someone who respects your independence and individuality, allowing you to maintain a healthy balance of connection and autonomy. Or alternatively, for some Scorpios, you might feel drawn to someone who challenges you to embrace new aspects of yourself, fostering personal transformation through their influence. They might bring that about. For Scorpios in separation, Mars and Leo in your 10th house could emphasize career or public life, possibly motivating you to reconsider what you want in a partner, or to reconsider any work dynamics that affected a partner in the past, or maybe an ending that you had with an ex, and thinking back on the ex is somehow fueling you and fueling you through your career, maybe causing you to put all the energy there or to have transformation there. Juno's presence in your first house may push you to reflect on the type of person you want to attract moving forward. For couples, Juno in the first house combined with Venus in your third house may inspire you partners to support each other's individuality while fostering a deeper connection. emotionally. There could be a lot of open communication happening at this time, lots of shared experiences which cause you to learn together. Couples, you and your partner may decide to support each other's personal goals, personal transformation journeys, self-development, even look changes, or embark on sharing learning experiences, fostering a sense of respect for each other's individuality. There could be lessons and themes here as couples within your relationship in terms of independence versus dependence. So there could be a lot of conversations about how much time you're spending together, about independence, about maintaining your sense of self, but also being in a relationship. Self-expression, it could be something here that could be coming up. Personal growth, if one of you has stopped having personal growth within the relationship, this could be coming up. This could lead you both to encourage each other's ambitions. There's this kind of, the lesson and themes here is really ties to this piece of wisdom that I really like. Sorry, I've been talking for so long. I think I'm going to take a break after you. But one of my favorite poets, his name is Gibran Khalil Gibran. He is a Lebanese poet and philosopher. And I'm totally going to destroy this through my paraphrasing. But he has a kind of quote that talks about love and couples and commitments and partnership and marriages being similar to pillars that hold up a foundation of a home. And the idea is that, when you're looking at a house and you're looking at pillars that are supporting a roof or acting as a foundation or supporting something above them, marriage is like that. If the columns or pillars stand too close together, then the weight is not dispersed evenly enough, so the house collapses. If the pillars or the columns are too far apart, then again, the weight is not dispersed evenly enough, the pillar collapses. So the home collapses. So the pillars have to be just close enough, but just far enough where they can properly forever hold up the rest of the house. And love, marriage, is similar to that. If you stand too close or if you stand too far, you're not going to be able to hold up the house. You won't hold up the marriage. You won't hold up the relationship. You won't hold up the chemistry. So it's important to stand close enough and yet not too close. And so this could be bringing up a lot of themes, lessons, and conversations that have to do with that. And this idea could be something that you learn by the end of this transit. And so you could be encouraged to find new ways to maintain that individuality while still strengthening that bond. And if you swing on either way, like if you're swinging where you're avoidant, it's going to be asking you to swing the other way. And if you're swinging on the side where you're too dependent, it's going to be asking you to come back a little bit to your individuality. Moving on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, suns, moons, and risings. Okay, Sagittarius, if you have not, I really highly recommend you, please, perhaps more than any other video so far, listen to the intro. I'll say again, this is talking about where transit Juno is impacting in your chart, but this is not considering your own natal Juno and all the other aspects that affect love and marriage and commitment. For that, one-on-one reading either with me or someone else that's a professional astrologer that actually works with asteroids properly is needed. But this is still, where Juno moves, you'll still see an impact. So we will talk about that. I'll talk about specific scenarios, 12th house where you have your Juno going in right now. Where you have Juno going in your house right now is not necessarily a house that talks about love, although Juno is the asteroid that does rule commitment, marriage, and things like that. So I'll talk about the overall meaning, but then when I get to the singles and couples portion, which includes separation if applicable, then I'll talk about what it could mean in terms of love and commitment and marriage for you. But to really understand, it's also important to know what is happening in your charts, where your Juno is, what's happening in your 12th house, what's happening to the rulers, what are the aspects, etc. However, this will still give you great detail, so please do still listen, but I do want to give that disclaimer. And Juno is just one of many things that a professional astrologer will look at when talking about things like compatibility, karma when it comes to love, marriage, timing, etc. Okay, so Sagittarius, Juno, like I said, is moving into your 12th house, which is the house of spirituality, solitude, hidden matters, secrets, mental health, connection to the divine, and also helping the underdog. This transit invites deep reflection on your subconscious patterns in relationships, in commitments, in terms of marriage, and your subconscious beliefs and any issues, mental health issues you may have here. If you have been self-isolating, pushing yourself away, having self-sabotaging behaviors, if you're holding on to limiting beliefs in terms of this, if you're going through a hard mental health time in terms of this, this will likely come up here. You might experience, what's that word? Revelations. I was going to say revelations. This has been, I've been talking for over an hour now, so please pardon me. So you might be having revelations about how your hidden fears or past experiences influenced your connections. Juno in Scorpio here is highlighting transformation and healing and alchemization, and the potential for karmic or spiritual relationships to emerge. So you might meet someone that really triggers a lot of healing or learning in you, or someone that feels like, oh my God, I've known you in a past life. You may feel drawn to exploring spirituality or therapeutic practices that help you understand your role in the past and current relationships, including possible coaching. You may feel drawn to talk to an astrologer to understand your karmic energy when it comes to love and marriage. Hidden or subconscious patterns in your love life may surface through events or just by itself, providing clarity or closure. This is a period where karmic relationships, whether new or re-emerging, could play a significant role in your personal growth. 12th house also rules karma, and it also talks about endings. But endings also bring beginnings, so don't freak out. And if there are endings, it's because they're meant to usher in something better. For singles, Juno in the 12th house may draw you towards connections that feel faded, like that, what I said earlier of, I feel like I've known you from a past life, or connections that feel spiritual. You could attract someone who brings a sense of healing or profound emotional understanding into your life. You could be being encouraged by the universe to spend more time in isolation if that's needed for you, or if you've been isolating and self-sabotaging, to cut that out. I was going to say cut that blank out because it's stopping you from meeting the person you're supposed to be with. If you've self-sabotaged here, or if your mental health or limiting beliefs or unhealed trauma in the past has caused you to self-sabotage relationships here, this could be a chance for you to fix that, or internally or externally. You could have a chance meeting with someone that could spark a commitment. You could meet them. This chance meeting could happen in a spiritual or therapeutic setting, such as a yoga class, a retreat, a spiritual place, a counseling group, or they could work in that way. Maybe they are an astrologer too, or maybe they're a coach or a therapist or some kind of a spiritual worker or a yogi. This could spark an unexpected connection. You might begin an online or secret relationship with someone who challenges your perspective on intimacy and trust. Maybe you're in a relationship or starting something that you keep it hidden. Alternatively, you may encounter someone from your past in a dream or unexpected memory, leading to healing and clarity or some kind of transformation with your mental health. Separation or no contact might be a theme here, because the 12th house is really about past things that are kind of weighing on you mentally. You also have Mars and Leo in your 9th house, which is ruling this Juno. So you might find insights about the connection through travel, education, or spiritual growth. So you might reach out to an ex to really decide to discuss unresolved emotions or find closure, or renewed understanding, or you could be thinking a lot about them for that reason. A past partner could suddenly reappear, especially in a spiritual or transformative context. It could feel almost like, oh my God, I just thought of them and then they reached out, which could offer an opportunity for healing. Alternatively, you may realize that a past relationship was a reflection of your subconscious fears, and you might realize how you sabotage this. For couples, this energy combined with Venus and Capricorn being in your 2nd house is a time to strengthen trust and work on emotional and spiritual bond. And if one of you in the couple is having mental health issues, this is the time to work on that as well. And there's also focus here on building stability and security in the relationship and balancing the transformative and introspective energy of Juno in the 12th with Venus in the 2nd. You and your partner might decide to explore couples coaching, mediation, therapy, or spiritual practices together, or get a couples reading if you need an astrologer. I know a great one. She's on this channel. Hello. But you could really, this could cause you to deepen your emotional connection together. Discussions about shared values and financial goals may come up, leading to a renewed sense of partnership and stability. Some Sagittarians might find that their partner helps them work through subconscious fears or past traumas or mental health issues, fostering mutual growth. It could be a time where the mental health of a partner or the mental health of the relationship, the emotional health of the relationship comes under scrutiny and focus, and there's a commitment there to help improve that. Moving on to Capricorns. Capricorn suns, moons, and risings. With Juno entering your 11th house of friendships, networks, and long-term goals, this transit emphasizes the importance of community and shared aspiration in relationships. You may be drawn to partnerships that align with your dreams or bring support and collaboration within a group settings. I want to remind you again, Capricorns, that this is a general reading, just focusing on where Juno the asteroid is activating in your chart. It does not talk about where your actual natal Juno is in your chart, which is going to really impact this. It doesn't talk about aspects. It doesn't talk about rulers. This is just one theme out of many. So to get a more specific and accurate reading, we need to understand all of those things. And really a one-on-one reading helps a lot here. But I highly encourage you, if you have not yet, perhaps more than any other video, to please listen to the intro. It goes into a lot of detail. Now, the 11th house is not necessarily a romantic house, the part in your chart that's getting activated. It doesn't mean that you won't be having romance activated as well, right? Because Juno is just one of many factors, including Venus, Eros, Psyche, 7th house ruler, etc. And so I will talk about overall what this is bringing, activating in your chart. But then when we get to the singles and couples specific portion, I'll talk about what this could look like for you in terms of love. But it's important when I'm talking about this to point out that Juno is not just about love, really. Venus more rules love. Juno is about marriage. It's about commitment. It's about lifelong partnership. It's about where also we feel like we have not been treated fairly and where we want to be treated fairly. Again, this is talked about more in the intro, so highly recommend you listen there. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, Caps, like I said, Juno is entering your 11th house, which is the house of friendships, networks, community, long-term goals, dreams, values, soul tribe. It could be soul tribe, but it could also just be like your friends that shouldn't be your friends, etc. You get the idea. This transit emphasizes the importance of community and shared aspirations when it comes to relationships. You may be drawn to partnerships that align with your dreams or bring support and collaboration within a group setting, or partnerships that can fit within a friend group, or partnership. Maybe you start developing a crush for someone in your friend group, but that should go later in my single predictions. Said that a bit early. Or it could also inspire you to be pouring time and energy into building a soul tribe, to calling forward a soul tribe, and into community. A romantic connection, like I said, could blossom within a friend group or social network, especially if you're working towards a shared goal. You may feel inspired to redefine your long-term aspirations. You may seek partners who align with your vision for the future. The transit could really encourage you to strengthen your bonds with friends or with colleagues, building a sense of trust and collaboration. If you're feeling like you don't fit with your with your friend circle, your friend group, this could be a time where you're calling in or taking the steps to meet the right people. For single Capricorns, if you do have an activation with love, because like I said, the 11th house is not normally associated with love. It's going to depend, but you still might, by the way, because it depends, like I said in the beginning, what other stuff is doing, like Venus, both in your chart and transit-wise, Juno in your chart, so many other factors. Professional astrologer will tell you. But for single Capricorns, if you do have a love thing happen, Juno in the 11th house could bring opportunities to meet someone through social networks, through technology, through events, through networking events, through group activities, through hanging out with your friends. Maybe your friends try to set you up with someone. Maybe you finally create a dating account, because 11th house rules technology. Maybe someone DMs you on Instagram, because 11th house rules social networks or another social network. The emphasis here is also on shared goals and compatibility within a broader context. You also might meet someone through a charity or community project or a professional networking event that could lead to meaningful connection. A friend might also express to you that they have romantic interest, or you might see a friend suddenly in a new light, which could spark very unexpected chemistry, and suddenly maybe you realize, wow, me and my friend are actually really compatible. I just stopped to think if I know any friends that are Capricorns. Like I said to you, this could come from a friend, or it can come from you with a friend. Or, I think I said this earlier, but I'm not sure, so I'll say it again. Maybe friends could be trying to set you up, or maybe friends have a gathering or some kind of a party or an event, or they invite you out and one of their friends is there, or you meet someone at something your friend organized and it sparks something. Alternatively, you may attract someone who supports your long-term dreams or goals, or shares your vision for the future, or has the same dreams. Like if your dream is to publish a wonderful fantasy novel, which is one of mine. Maybe you meet someone at something related to doing that. If you are going through a separation or no contact, it's because you have the ruler of this Juno in the 8th house. The 8th house is the house that rules deep intimacy, transmuting dark to light, Phoenix rising, transformation, death and rebirth. I could see that separation or no contact could be a theme for you right now. And the Juno in the 11th house here could encourage you to consider how the role of friendship or community supported you in past relationships, but also how it may have played a part in your relationships ending. Did you rely too much on what your friends or community would think or say, or what they did say or advise you versus yourself? Did that play a role? Are you thinking of an ex who you met in the past through some kind of friendship or community thing? Are your friends or community trying to encourage reconnection with an ex, either through directly intervening or through bringing up these conversations yourself? You may decide to reach out to an ex who was once a close friend, or reach out to an ex-close friend, which would maybe it could come from you seeking to deal with unresolved feelings or rekindle. An ex might suddenly reappear through mutual friends. Maybe you suddenly realize, oh my God, we had mutual friends and I didn't realize this whole time. Or they pop up randomly through your community setting or networking place, or through mutual friends. That could prompt either convos about the past or future possibilities. For couples, this energy of Juno in the 11th house plus Venus in your 1st house, which is all about the self, could bring about lessons and themes of balancing the collaborative energy and balancing where your relationship falls or affects between the I am and the community, could really enhance self-love and personal expression within the relationship. Couples may find themselves focusing on shared goals and supporting each other's individuality. You and your partner may decide to work together on a long-term goal or dream, such as a business venture or travel plan or community projects. You may suddenly realize that one of you has not been, or both of you have not been fulfilled in pursuing your dreams, or has been ignoring that, so you want to kind of help that. You or your partner may be feeling like they don't have a soul tribe or family community, and you have been spending too much time alone, and you want to one of you wants to expand family. Sorry, I said family, but I meant friends. Expand a friend or community network. Or alternatively, if one of you or both of you have been spending too much time with friends, this could bring up discussions on the balance between being in a relationship and existing within a friend circle. Discussions about mutual support and independence may come up. Some Capricorns will find that their partner is encouraging them to expand their circles or pursue their dreams. That basically sums it up. Okay, moving on to Aquarius. Aquarius suns, moons, and risings. If you haven't yet, I highly encourage you, perhaps more than any other video, to listen to this incredibly deep intro, especially since many people are not familiar with Juno and its transformative effects, and also because Juno in Scorpio will be staying here longer than other Juno transits. And also, this is activating for you, Aquarius, your 10th house. And 10th house is not necessarily a love house. So I'm going to talk about what Juno, the asteroid of commitment and marriage, going into your 10th house, but also which might not necessarily be related to love. And then later I will jump into what it means when we get to the singles and couples portion to do with love. But it doesn't mean, right, that you're not having anything at all happen for you in terms of love, because this is just talking about where Juno right now in the sky is transiting in your chart. It's not considering other love-related transits like Venus and Eros and Psyche and whatever your 7th house ruler is. And it's not talking about as well what is actually happening in your natal chart, the aspects where your actual Juno is. For all of that, you're going to need a one-on-one reading. You can also listen to my other love forecast videos, like the one I did the other week, like last week, in terms of big love transits happening this month, which I'll connect below, and any future ones I might have, such as Venus transits. But this is still going to give you a great idea. Again, really highly recommend you listen to the intro. Okay, without further ado, Juno is entering your 10th house, which is the house of career, reputation, vocation, public image, etc. And also can rule authority and leadership in terms of where you are a leader. This transit emphasizes commitment and transformation in professional relationships especially. You may feel drawn to partnerships that align with your career goals or enhance your public image. You could have a professional collaboration or a new business partnership or teaming up with someone at work, which could maybe evolve into a romantic connection or vice versa. There could be a blending here of your personal and professional life. Or taking the romance out of it, you could just have a new professional or work or business collaboration. You may feel inspired to redefine your career goals or to seek partners who support your aspirations and share your visions. This transit could also encourage you to strengthen your professional relationships, building trust and collaboration within your career. For single Aquarians, now we're going to focus on if you are experiencing love, what it could look like or how it could come. By the way, I don't mean just love, because Juno is more about marriage and serious partnership and commitment. So Juno in the 10th house for singles, if you are one of the ones that ends up feeling love, because again, 10th house isn't normally associated with commitment. But again, this is just talking about Juno. I don't want to discourage you because your chart's different. But anyway, the 10th house Juno here could bring opportunities to meet someone through your career or public life. This emphasis here is also, talking about shared goals and compatibility in professional or social settings, or how your desires for commitment and serious partnership or marriage may fit with your desires to do with career. You may meet someone through a work project, a networking event, or a professional gathering, leading to a meaningful connection. Maybe you and a coworker suddenly, boom, kiss. You might develop a crush at work or a networking event or someone within your work industry, or something can happen with that. A mentor or a colleague or a boss could express romantic interest, or you might find yourself drawn to someone in a leadership or mentorship or authority role over you. Alternatively, you may attract someone who supports your career goals and shares your vision for the future and somehow unlocks career advancement for you or plays a part in pivoting your career. For Aquarians in separation or no contact, because the ruler of this Juno, Mars, is in Leo, which is in your 7th house, this for you could actually be bringing up no contact themes. This could bring intense emotions or reflections about partnerships and commitments. If you've had exes that you're still thinking about where career played a part in you breaking up, or you were overly committed on your career, Juno in this 10th house is encouraging you to consider the role of career, shared goals, and public image in your relationships. You may decide to reach out to an ex to clarify unresolved feelings or discussions if you in the past prioritized work over them. An ex might reappear through work or professional setting, which could prompt conversations about past dynamics and future possibilities. You could gain insight into how your career or your public image kind of badly influenced your relationships in the past. Also for singles, that in general, a lot of you Leos may be feeling like life might be forcing you to really heavily commit right now to your career and to your work, and this could be causing friction in terms of your want to actually be in relationship. For couples, you may find yourself focusing on shared goals and supporting each other's aspirations, or there could be a need to understand how to balance your work and career life with your want to deepen the relationship. You also have Venus in Capricorn in your 12th house here, which is enhancing introspection and spiritual connection within the relationship, which balances the professional energy of Juno in the 10th. You and your partner may be having serious conversations about one of you or both of you's professional goals, maybe even deciding to work together on a business venture or travel plan or community project or professional goal. Discussions, issues, or improvements about mutual support and independence or dependence or work-life balance or relationship career balance could come, and it could lead to a stronger sense of partnership and respect. Some Aquarians may find that their partner encourages them to expand their social circles or pursue their dreams, fostering mutual growth. Moving on to Pisces. Pisces suns, moons, and risings. I think I say this in almost every video, but I'm a Pisces rising, so hello. Pisces, if you haven't yet, I highly recommend, possibly more than any other video, listening to the intro, because I go very in depth, especially because a lot of people are not as familiar with Juno. And I talk about how using this video, which is where Juno is activating on our charts, is just one of many predictive and forecasting aspects when it comes to commitment and marriage and life partners, etc. So listen to that, because it's really so much more if we want to talk about what's happening in your life, right? It's looking at where your actual Juno is, aspects between the two, so many other elements such as Venus, Eros, Psyche, so much more, rulerships. It's a lot more, and a one-on-one reading with a professional astrologer like myself or someone else will really give that insight, but also listening to a combination of different videos about different love elements. So I have another transits video out that came out before about love transits in November. Listening to the future ones I'm going to post. This one will give you a holistic approach, because this is just focusing on the Juno aspect. I'm going to start off talking about where in your chart Juno is activating, and for not all signs does it necessarily activate a house that is love related, but then I will talk about what that means outside of love and what it will actually mean if you are one of the Pisces that will be having love themes activated in this time. And the type of love I'm talking about when we're talking about Juno is the committed type of love, the marriage type of love, the lifelong partnership type of love. Okay, so Pisces, this is me included, with Juno entering our 9th house. Our 9th house, or your 9th house, is the house of travel, higher education, higher thoughts of education too. Philosophy, that includes religious philosophy, spiritual philosophy, political philosophy, life philosophy and outlook, expansion. It's also the house that rules connection with spirit and the higher realms of spirituality, meaning spirituality when it comes to things like knowledge and philosophy. So because of that, it also rules, by the way, astrology. So with that, this transit is emphasizing growth and exploration in relationships. By the way, writers out there, 9th house also rules publishing and that essence of writing. So not like the act of small school writing, like, oh, I'm doing my first draft, but like, I'm doing my first draft to get published. I'm querying authors, writers, etc. That's what that house rules. And I haven't brought Juno in the picture yet. So bringing in Juno, and again, please listen to the intro to really learn about Juno the asteroid if you are new to Juno. But bringing in Juno, you may feel drawn to connections that inspire you to connect more with your beliefs, your spirituality, your philosophy, or inspiring you to explore new ideas, new cultures, new beliefs, or that expand your worldview in transformative ways, or feel drawn to connections that inspire you to travel more and to be more curious and to be able to enjoy that part of yourself. A romantic connection might arise or might come back through travel, education, philosophy, shared views, shared life views, shared interest in spiritual or philosophical pursuits. This is especially accurate if you tend to not follow the mainstream in terms of your outlook. You may feel inspired to redefine your long-term goals or your belief systems, or to recommit to a spiritual practice, or to recommit to a new or more aligned spiritual or world outlook. You may seek partners to align with your visions of the future. You may be getting lessons in terms of lifelong commitment, lifelong partnership, serious commitment, and how spirituality, religion, culture, traveling can affect that. Oh my God, I have to say this is so accurate like in terms of my life as a Pisces ascendant. Wow. I'm just like reading my notes right now and relating it to things that have happened even the last few days. This transit, it's funny because I actually wrote this more than a few days ago, on the weekend of a few days ago, and some things that have happened in the last 2 days, now that I'm looking at the rest of the notes. Wow, crazy accuracy. And I want to encourage you again, because this is my ascendant, right? And my sun is Libra and my moon is Virgo. Please, please, please listen to your rising sign or your ascendant first, or just prioritize it. If the order doesn't matter, just make sure you listen to that and then listen to your sun and moon to get an overall holistic view, because your ascendant should be very accurate. Okay, so back to it. This transit could really also encourage you to seek out relationships that broaden your perspective or challenge your perspective or align with your perspective, and that foster mutual growth and understanding. For single Pisces, Juno in the 9th house can bring opportunities to meet someone through travel, through education, or through spiritual pursuits, or through embodying your truths and embodying your maybe controversial views, or where you may stand out spiritually, politically, life-wise. There's an emphasis here on shared ideals and compatibility on a deeper, more expansive level. You might be meeting someone that makes you realize the type of person you should be marrying, you should be dating. You might be meeting someone that challenges you in a good way or in a bad way and makes you realize, man, I really have to date someone that thinks like me or thinks compatibly to me. You might meet someone during a trip abroad. You might meet someone in a classroom setting, or through a shared interest in philosophy, religion, personal growth, conspiracy theories, politics, spirituality. A romantic connection could emerge with someone from a different cultural or religious background. That could bring new perspectives into your life and make you question a lot of those things. Alternatively, you may attract someone who inspires you to expand your horizons, whether through travel, nomading, education, philosophy, spirituality, religion, or exploring new belief systems. You could be having experiences dating around that makes you have the need to solidify what are my religious and spiritual views, what am I looking for in a long-term partner. And as you're dating around, you may actually be ending things with people you've been otherwise connecting with for a few dates, because you realize that this is something that is a deal breaker. For Pisces that are in separation, Mars in Leo is in your 6th house, so that could bring reflections on how agreeing on a lot of these philosophical, religious, spiritual, cultural, lifestyle things affect relationships when it comes to daily routines, shared responsibilities, etc. Juno in the 9th house could be encouraging you to consider how shared ideals, shared views, shared life philosophy, shared spirituality, and long-term goals influence past connections, and what of that you want to bring to future connections. And some of those interactions you could be having in your daily life could be making you appreciate past connections where you had shared these things. You might reconnect with an ex through a shared interest in travel, education, spirituality, politics, life outlooks, conspiracy theories. You either might find closure or renewed understanding, but one of these topics can trigger one of you reaching out to the other. Oh my God, this is insane, because again, just super very funny. Okay, a past partner or a past love interest could reach out while you're traveling or while they're traveling, and could spark conversations about travel or exploring new ideas. And that can lead you guys to either become friends or just explore those ideas together, or just get some conclusion, or you can decide to jump back into something together. Similarly, a past partner could reach out to explore or talk about ideas to do with politics, religion, spirituality. Either you could or they could, and this could be sparked by some realization you've had about those topics or how you both relate on those things. Alternatively, you might gain insight into how your beliefs and long-term goals shaped past relationships, leading to personal growth and clarity, and discomfort you're having with finding people in your daily life that maybe match a lot of those things you're now realizing are so important for you. Could be causing you to reflect back on past partners where it was aligned, and you could be thinking, man, why didn't it work out with this person? Is it worth sharing? Or I need to date someone who was like that person. This could be a time where, you know, in your pursuit to find long-term commitment and marriage and relationship, you're being asked to question, am I willing to put aside maybe my more controversial opinions, my controversial spirituality, my life philosophy, to have a partner who otherwise adores me and cares for me and is everything I otherwise want, but I can't really embody my true self. And Juno here is telling you, no, mofo, just kidding, I do not call people that. Sorry, I was very in character. Juno here is telling you, no, absolutely not. Smack, smack, smack. Do not think that. It is not true love, and it is not a true relationship if you cannot truly embody who you are within the relationship, and not just have it be tolerated, but have it be both understood and celebrated. Now, you don't need to share the exact same philosophies for absolutely everything, or anything at all. Well, I mean, some things for sure, but it has to be more than tolerated. If you can have different philosophies, but they have to be respected and it has to be celebrated. And the favorite things about yourself need to be celebrated. And your spirituality needs to be celebrated. Your life philosophy, these things, you have to be compatible at the end of the day. And it's not worth it giving that up or having disharmony with those things. Disharmony, right? So not necessarily difference, but disharmony, active clashing, even if the person is giving you otherwise offering stability and all that stuff. Because in the long run, it's not being built on a real foundation, because it's not really yourself in a way. So those are the themes and lessons coming up here. Couples, Venus and Capricorn in your 11th house, happening with all of this, with the expansive Juno in the 9th energy, is enhancing collaboration and shared goals within the relationship and bringing in that theme of values. So couples, you may find yourself focusing on long-term aspirations and supporting each other's growths, or being forced to ask yourself, how am I doing in terms of my long-term goals? How am I doing in terms of my dreams? How am I doing in terms of how that affects that relationships? Is one of us or both of us not focusing enough on our goals, right? Because if one of you isn't focusing on your goals, you've totally abandoned your goals, your dreams, that relationship is also not going to have a strong foundation, because we each have to take care of ourselves to be able to exist well in a relationship. You and your partner may decide to plan a trip together, to plan your dreams together, to pursue a shared educational goal, or to explore a new spiritual practice. You and your partner may be having issues could actually be coming up for you to either work on and get closer, or it could be asking you to consider, is this really the partnership for me? And the issues I'm talking about here have to do with things to do with shared visions for your dreams, shared visions for life, religion, cultural background, religious background. These can be coming up in relationships to either address, or to, if required, if it's not in alignment, to make you realize this is not in alignment. I might have to do something about this, and either end the relationship or fix it somehow. So you will be having a lot of discussions about long-term goals, shared ideals, religion, spirituality, life philosophy, life path, etc. And hopefully it will strengthen your bond and mutual understanding. But if not, just know that everything that's coming up now is happening for a reason. And in the end, the universe is working on your side. Some Pisces might find that their partner is encouraging them to pursue their dreams or explore new horizons. We also have Uranus conjuncting the full moon in Taurus in your 3rd house that is happening throughout this time. So communication and short-term travel could play a pivotal role in how these energies are manifesting. You may experience sudden insights or sudden breakthroughs or sudden disagreements that are coming up to do with these topics that reshape your perspective on your relationship when it comes to religion, philosophy, shared backgrounds, and shared goals. Let me see, anything else? Juno here for both singles and couples is asking you to recommit to how your spirituality, your understanding of the world, politics, your beliefs, who you are, your dreams, is showing up in terms of your commitment as well for your relationship and for having a partner. And it's asking for harmony and balance here. couples, you could be deepening your relationship, your bond, your commitment while traveling. So if you have a trip coming up, this can really be a defining moment for the relationship. This could be, he could propose, or I didn't mean to assume gender here. They could propose, someone could propose, you both could be getting married. Maybe you start planning a foreign wedding, or start planning, a foreign wedding or a honeymoon or something. You could also be entering a long distance relationship here, or if you were not long distance, you could be going into long distance. Similarly, if you were long distance, you could be coming closer. Yeah, I think that about sums it up. But Juno is pretty happy here because, the 9th house is traditionally associated with Sagittarius, who's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is Juno's husband. So Juno is very happy here. So overall, this is a great energy, unrelated to love, related solely just to these topics. But it's also great energy related to love and how love is entwined with these topics related to the 9th house. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for listening. If you've loved this video, then a like or a comment or a subscription helps me so much and keeps me encouraged and going, but also helps me know what you guys love. And also be sure to hit subscribe and that notification button to be notified for when I have future forecasts, which there are more coming out, especially with Mercury retrograde right around the corner. Just as a reminder, I am running, with the launch of this channel, a launch special where once I hit 30 subscribers, we're so close, oh my god, so close, just 11 more, depending on when you listen to this. And once we hit there, then I will draw 2 people to win a free 60-minute reading. And we can use those to dive into your Juno and your love energy overall, and talk about who your future partner is when you'll meet them, or we can do relationship compatibility, or we can do anything. If you want to talk about career, money, location astrology, I'll be pulling 2 winners, so be sure to subscribe and comment. You have to do both, and any additional comment after the first one counts as an additional entry. Let's see, anything else? My little closing here is happening at the end of me talking for almost 2 hours. So I think I may be a bit delirious, but thank you again for tuning in, and stay tuned for future videos coming up. Thanks.